Welcome back, gentlefolk and rapscallions of all persuasions. Today is going to be a little bit more of a rant video because I have now picked up 3 different things that were all touted as Harry Potter for grown-ups, and I was disappointed by basically all of them. One of the things that I love about the Harry Potter series is that for everything else that it does, it maintains a tone of hope, even in its darkest moments. The themes of Harry Potter are inherently based on freedom and friendship and love, whereas these 3 things that I'm about to talk about are rooted in isolation, ostracization, and the kinds of toxic situationships that you can only have with people who are getting themselves into the grown-up situations that you encounter in your 20s and 30s. The first one of these that I'm going to talk about is Lev Grossman's The Magicians, and if you want to ignore my opinion on this, because I DNF'd it the moment it became This Is Totally Not the Chronicles of Narnia, complete with an in-between world full of pools that people use to get to other worlds, and an in-world book series of children going through these pools into other worlds, please feel free. That's fine. Combine all of that with a uniquely unlikable protagonist and a story that was just not holding my attention. Life is quite literally too short for me to keep reading books that I don't like. So I dropped this one. There was also the idea of if you were spirited away to a magical academy, would it really be as fun as Harry Potter, or would it turn your brain inside out? And that just didn't sit well with me either. The second of these that I picked up is a series, which I thought was a duology, but is actually a trilogy. The first is Vita Nostra, the second is Assassin of Reality, and the third book, A School of Shards, is coming out later this year in 2025, and this explains why I thought that it had an open-ended conclusion. It turns out that it was just book 2 of a trilogy. The pitch for this was if Tolstoy wrote Harry Potter. I like Anna Karenina. I like Harry Potter. I figured, why not? I'm also trash and will buy anything with a magical academy in it. And while these books did have a magical academy and that certain sort of existential ennui that is a feature, not a bug, of a lot of great Russian literature, this felt distinctly and specifically as if Dostoevsky wrote Dark Hermione fanfiction, and I will let you do with that information what you will. The writing nerd in me did appreciate that the magic system is basically all of these people finding out that they are different parts of speech and how all of their powers interacting together can affect the world around them. I will finish out this trilogy because even though I took issue with the marketing and the fact that these books distinctly lack the inherently hopeful tone that Harry Potter had, they were intriguing and they kept my interest, and I want to find out what happens now that I know that what I read was not actually the conclusion. So I will come back and do an update on that later when I finish the series if you all want me to. Lastly is An Academy for Liars, which came out just a couple of months ago in September 2024. And this book focuses on a magic system called persuasion. And the idea of persuasion is that there are practitioners who can psychologically affect the people around them, and a much smaller subset of these practitioners can affect the physical world around them. And of course, our protagonist is one of these extra special subset people. My issue with the main character of this book is that she spent a good portion of her life being talked down to by the people around her, and all of a sudden, when she discovers that she has magical powers, she becomes defiant and grows a spine and is suddenly very successful at all of the things that she tries to do. And I understand that suddenly finding out that you have magical powers could be a very powerful kick in the behind to get you to manifest some things that you hadn't before. However, I personally have had the experience of negative self-talk and having people around me talk down to me, and it took several years of working on myself to get to the confidence that I have now. And so because of my personal experience, I didn't really resonate with the character in that way. This book also focuses on the themes of systemic oppression and discrimination, and these are valuable viewpoints and commentary. However, rather than being inherently interwoven into the conflict of the novel, the way that R.F. Kuang did with Babel, which is a phenomenal book and made me very uncomfortable for good reasons, because it made me examine the privileges in my life that I have just kind of taken for granted. In An Academy of Liars, they sort of felt shoehorned in, like they had to be mentioned and specifically talked about instead of just being part of the inherent conflict of the story. And I understand that the kind of rivalries that we have in Harry Potter are much harder to do when you have adult characters, because the kinds of conflicts that you get into as an adult are a lot more complicated than the conflicts that you get into as an 11-year-old child, where you can just have the antagonist make an offhanded comment and then you have an inbuilt enemy for the rest of your story. I know that nothing is going to be Harry Potter ever again. And I'm probably going to spend my life chasing the kind of... Excuse you, sir. Ow, that is my wrist. Sir, that is my wrist. That is my wrist. Hi. Hi, could you not? I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life chasing that kind of escapism in a book that has a magical academy and or a vaguely horoscopic magic system that I can use to judge people upon meeting them for the rest of my life. Hi, I'm a Slytherin, a Lightweaver, and an orange-blue disjunctive bichrome. If anyone can point me in the direction of a story that has this general theme of somebody finding a magical world as an adult but with a hopeful tone, I'm basically looking for the tone that Doctor Who had circa 2005 to 2011, but as a fantasy novel. And if it doesn't exist yet, I guess I'm just going to have to write it myself. In the meantime, drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought of all of these stories. Do all those delicious things that feed the almighty algorithm, like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye!